り説ってのがあるんですよ。
うわ
よく聞く。やっぱシャンクスの傷が映ってない、映ってるみたいな。
This is a well-known moment when the popular Japanese YouTubers, Fishers, asked Oda Sensei a question about Shanks. At that time, Oda Sensei's response was completely withheld. However, during this interview, Oda Sensei was known to outright deny things that no possibility of being true. Interestingly, when asked whether there could be two Shanks, he provides some kind of response suggesting there might indeed be some kind of trick involving Shanks. One of his responses that was made public is this: I often forgot to draw scars. This statement likely refers to what was revealed in the Bible cards. As for the Shanks who appeared in Mavijoa, even in the color version, there were no changes made to his design. This may be deliberately left as is to steer debate and speculation. But why am I bringing this up now? Yeah, as you may know, a hooded figure who closely resembles Shanks appeared on the final page of the latest chapter 1134, published in Jump. Yeah, this Jump. This Shonen Jump. This topic has probably already been heavily discussed on the community. So, in this video, I'll provide an analysis with a slightly different perspective, including interpretations from the Japanese version. Anyway, this video is sponsored by Gram. Thank you so much, Gram. This year, we're only accepting 5 more members for Dawn Dusk members. Yeah, I'll continue sharing various insight and analysis, so be sure to check them out. Anyway, let's dive in. Before discussing the two-footed figure that appeared at the end of the chapter 1134, there's a topic I'd like to address now. It's about the man who appeared in the Room of Authority at Mavijoa. There's been speculation online that this man might be Shanks' twin, with some people treating it as if it's already confirmed. While the possibility certainly exists, it's too early to say for sure. One of the reasons people believe this man isn't Shanks is based on the following argument. Most One Piece characters are consistent in their use of informal or formal Japanese. Shanks in particular speaks informally with everyone, including elders like Whitebeard and top Marines officers like Sengoku. However, this theory likely comes from someone who doesn't fully understand how Japanese works, or hasn't read much of Japanese version of One Piece. In reality, it's not accurate to say that One Piece characters are always consistent in their use of formal or informal speech. For instance, Luffy uses formal languages depending on the situation. When apologizing to Dalton or Morgan, he uses polite speech, and native Japanese speakers don't find this unusual. Similarly, there's nothing strange about Shanks using formal languages with the 5 elders. While it's true that Shanks speaks informally with Whitebeard and Sengoku, the context matters. Whitebeard is a pirate, and Sengoku is a marine admiral. Since they belong to entirely different organizations, Shanks has no obligation to use formal languages with them. And when a hooded man spoke with the 5 elders, they treated him with significant respect. One of them even said, yeah, Peter said, we made time for you because it's you. 君だから時間を取った. In contrast, when Garvin appeared in the Room of Authority, he was greeted with, おい、Garvin, 何の用だ? Hey, what do you want? Yeah, if this hooded man were Shanks' twin and Garvin's son, the stark difference in how they were treated would raise some interesting questions. And the main point of contention is that the character doesn't appear to have the scar we associated with Shanks. To be fair, this could simply be a matter of the angle. There are similar depictions of the Shanks we know, where the angle is slightly the right rather than directly side on, which makes the scar visible. Either way, much like how some people lose their temper over size scaling discussions in One Piece videos, this alone doesn't provide definitive proof one way or the other. And another intriguing detail comes from the anime version of this scene. I rewatched the episodes, and in the anime credit, they listed the voice actor Ikeda Shuichi under the character name Shanks. In that episode, there are no other scenes featuring Shanks except for this final one. Despite this, his name, Shanks, is credited. Yeah, I know. Granted, credit alone don't serve as solid evidence. However, if the intention from the start was for this character not to be Shanks, it wouldn't be surprising if they had done something like using 3 question mark as they did for Im's voice actor, or simply omitted the credit altogether. As I've discussed, there's definitely a possibility that the hooded figure could be Shanks' sibling. However, I want to emphasize that it's too early to jump to conclusions and assume this means this hooded figure is Shanks. Yeah, we don't have enough information yet, so I'd love to hear your honest thoughts on this. Personally, I think if this character turns out to be the Shanks we know as the pirate, it could add even more depth to the story. Shanks is still a deeply mysterious character, and he is someone who is respected and seen as a threat by every major power, be it the world government, the Marines, the warlords, or the Yonko. Moreover, he likely has celestial dragon's blood, but was raised by pirate, Roger's pirate, making him a unique figure capable of navigating between various organizations and power structures. If Shanks truly has connection to multiple factions carrying the burden of these ties while maintaining his position as a Yonko and still having links to the world government, it would only make him an even more compelling character. Yeah, at least in my opinion. And we've already seen hints of Shanks' mysterious connections. Despite being in the New World just days prior, he appeared at Marineford seemingly without issue. There's also the moment Sengoku said, "If it's you, I don't mind. お前ならいい," further suggesting his ties to the world government. Then, I'm eager to see how Shanks' story unfolds from here. Now, finally, let's talk about the hooded man who appeared in the Elbaf Castle. Personally, I think there are 3 main reasons for who this person might be. First is the most popular theory. That's his Shanks' twin, or Shanks' siblings. The second, the idea that he's a clone of Shanks. The third is the less likely possibility that he's actually Shanks himself. As I mentioned earlier in this video, the idea that this person is Shanks' sibling and currently a member of the Knights of God seems highly plausible. However, the twin theory has already been widely discussed, so there's no need for me to go over it again in detail here in this video. If you are interested, I recommend checking out this other video for more on that theory. For this video, I want to explore the scenario where the hooded man is not Shanks' twin or Shanks' sibling. Let's dive into that possibility. First, let's dive into that clone theory. Honestly, I'm not a fan of resolving everything with a clone explanation. But since the Stussy situation exists, it's worth considering this possibility as well. The most intriguing connection here is the fact that Figurant Garing is referred to as the scientific defense god. In chapter 1096, he was portrayed as quite the warrior, so it's surprising to associate him with science. However, being labeled a scientific defense god suggests he does have some knowledge or involvement in science. If that's the case, it's plausible that he may have taken an interest in Vegapunk's cloning technology. And in God Valley, Goring seems to value children as indicated by his words, "Miteiro kodomo tachi." Watch carefully, children. If he has lost his own child, it wouldn't be far-fetched to think he might consider creating a clone, a replicate him. Additionally, in the chapter 1134, where the mysterious hooded man appears, there's a mention of the Vegapunk's ability to bring people back as clones. Yeah, this makes the possibility that the hooded man is a clone of Shanks not entirely out of question. Another possibility to consider is that the hooded man is actually Shanks himself. However, we were given the impression that Shanks had already departed from Elbaf. Yeah, for him to return so soon might seem a bit far-fetched. That said, there are some scenarios where this could make sense. One theory I find particularly interesting is the idea of parallel Shanks. In the world of One Piece, there exists the Toki Toki no Mi, time fruit, a devil fruit that allows for time travel into the future. While it's stated by Toki that interfering with the past is impossible, she herself was born in the time she didn't belong to, the era of Roger and Oden, and interacted with Oden both conceptually and physically. Anyway, it's not entirely out of the question that Shanks could also be a product of some kind of temporal interference. This could mean that the version of Shanks who wasn't originally supposed to be a part of Roger's pirate came into existence due to such time-related causality. Honestly, it feels like a stretch to assume this hooded man is a twin, as his hair, beard, and overall style resemble Shanks too closely. But if we think of it as a Shanks who was supposed to have been raised by Figure Goring, and continued to down that path, it opens up an interesting perspective. And another possibility is that Shanks has a condition similar to Cavendish, where he exhibits a second personality or a sleepwalking state. Actually, in manga, there are moments where Shanks' face is depicted as darkened, which could hint at such a phenomenon. And Oden's flashback, hearing about how Blackbeard can live without sleeping, Shanks envied that ability. So it's not impossible to imagine he might have sought to acquire it for himself. I understand. While it's a low probability, the idea that the hooded man could be Shanks himself is still worth exploring. That's why I decided to create this video, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this theory and your theory about Shanks and hooded character. Anyway, see you next time.